Well, what does a child want? What's a child need? It's especially appropriate today as our baby boy Brett celebrates his birthday actually today. Now, he has a wife and 3 kids of his own, but he's still our baby boy. But it is causing me to reflect back a little bit about his birth. He's our second one, so now we've already had the experience of our first child. So when Bethany, our first child, dropped her pacifier, we would sterilize it. We do whatever we can. Brett comes along, and when he drops his pacifier, we just wipe it off on our sleeve and we blew on it, all right? I just never saw a parenting manual. And I don't know if any of you have, but there's no doubt about it, children are a blessing. And parents, next to our relationship with God and our spouse, this is to be our highest priority. Now, throughout the Gospel, Jesus is very upfront with his concern for children. In Mark 10, we read, people were bringing little children to Jesus to have him touch them. But the disciples, get this, the disciples rebuked them. And when Jesus saw this, he was indignant. He said to them, let the children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these. And then he says this, I tell you the truth, anyone who will not receive the kingdom of God like a little child will never enter it. And then he takes the children in his arms, and he puts his hands on them, and he blesses them. Powerful passage. Later in 3 John verse 4 is the theme verse, I think, for every Christian parent. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth. Our primary goal is not to raise a scholar, a beauty queen, star athlete, or even a multimillionaire. Our primary goal is to raise children who follow Jesus. Now, we rejoice when they do, but it doesn't just happen. It takes work. We believe that children develop in 4 areas, just like Jesus did. In Luke 2:52, it says, Jesus grew in wisdom, stature, favor with God and man. Again, the same is true for us and for our children. We grow in these 4 areas. Wisdom, that's mentally. Stature, that's physically. Favor with God, that's spiritually. And with man, that's socially. Mentally, physically, spiritually, socially. That's how children develop. That's what they need. So when they come into the world, they are undeveloped. So they have to be taught to live, to follow, and to obey. And parents, we have an amazing impact, amazing influence on our kids. Don't let anybody minimize that. Someone wrote it this way. If a child lives with criticism, he learns to condemn. If a child lives with hostility, he learns to fight. If a child lives with ridicule, he learns to be shy. If a child lives with shame, he learns to feel guilty. If a child lives with tolerance, he learns to be patient. If a child lives with encouragement, he learns confidence. If a child lives with praise, he learns to appreciate. If a child lives with fairness, he learns justice. If a child lives with security, he learns to have faith. If a child lives with approval, he learns to like himself. Now, if a child lives with acceptance and friendship, he learns to find love in the world. And I guess that's my question. What are your children living with? Again, you and I, we get to influence them as family. And we also get to do that as a church family, the family of God. So let's give children the very best. See you next week.